Alright, chumps, I'm back. Let's do this. Games. Alright, sorry. We are going to play, finally, we're starting a playthrough of the Karum Station Blues supplement of, I don't know why I'm doing this, of Across 1,000 Dead Worlds. This is a fantastic introductory scenario written by Richard Kelly, which, by the way, if you look him up on itch.io, you will find an absolute madhouse of weird, interesting RPG options to play. It's kind of fantastic. So we're going to be playing Karum Station Blues. We're going to be doing it hard copy, out of the book. The only thing that I'm going to be using on the computer during this is my little index that I created to make my life easier to find things in the book. It'll hopefully speed things up a little bit. So we have that. We have my lovely dice tray over here. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it over here in the. Oh yeah, look at that. Anyways, I didn't realize it was on screen here. Should we move it back? Nah, that's fine. Gives you context. Okay, so things that I started doing and I'm doing differently. I originally printed out Karum Station Blues and I put it in this binder. And this is too damn big for the play space. First of all, the camera hates the reflections and will just keep refocusing over and over again. And two, it's just too damn big. So instead, we went booklet style with the PDF, and now we have this much more manageable, albeit slightly harder to read. That's fine. So this, we're not going to use that. We have this. I had also been using this reference manual for mission operations. Also kind of big for the scheme of things, so instead I made this little tiny version which fits much better in the play space. Now, I don't have good technology. As you can see, I have a webcam hanging off of a phone claw that is how can I show you this? Yeah, I have a webcam hanging off a phone claw that is connected to a lamp pushed up against the side of the table. I have my Blue Snowball microphone. You want to go on tour? Here. And we have our shit sandwich, awful MSI laptop, don't buy gaming laptops, with my dice tower there, and I have the webcam for the webcam from the laptop is pointed down here at the tray. That was sort of a happy accident that came along, but works good. And then we have a little side lighting and a liminal tunnel to infinity, and I suspect, yes, at least one dog at all times defending me from the tyranny of of reality. So that's what we have. I'm not going to bother trying to get this out of frame. You don't care. I don't care. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna do the best with what we got. And that's going to be good enough because I don't want to spend money. That's crazy talk. So far, I've not yet spent, other than getting, the game itself, well, at least this part. Oh, and to be fair, I am using this a little bit as well. I'm using one of the characters out of here. I already did a character creation video for this campaign, I guess. I don't know, this adventure. And I did decide to use Aaliyah Singh, who is out of this book. And we might get into a little detail about her as time goes on. I have made a what I felt was an improved battle map from the one in the downloads, because this is actually the size of the, when you go to do combat and it says here's your options for different size maps for combat. Where are you? Right? This is now the same size as those, so I'm going to use that. We've got the lovely little tokens to use during combat. We got our dice. And I made the die picture here much bigger because my blue. I love these dice; they're my favorite color, but they're hard to see from afar. So that just gets a big camera. The dice are nice to look at. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here, and by the way, spoilers. Spoilers. So many spoilers. I'm spoiling this entire thing. Wait, this... What am I doing? It's on the desk right. I'm spoiling this entire thing, alright? I'm playing through Karum Station Blues. which means there is no way to not spoil all the things that are in here. So heads up. Obviously, when you play it, you're going to play it differently than I do, but the stuff that is here, it is what it is. I got Alex's permission to go ahead and do this, so thank you very much for that. But also, same thing, spoilers for at least one, for Aaliyah Singh, spoilers for that pre-generated crew member. Spoilers, okay? This is the last time we're going to bother with the whole yelling of spoilers. Spoilers! And now you know, and knowing's half the battle. Let's go for it. The only thing I don't like about printing my own PDFs into booklets is how, the edge is never... You've always got this fat middle and then thin on the edges because of the way that the paper, can't get all the way over there. So, it's so hard to cut paper evenly. Like, this did not work out particularly well at all, and this was relatively easy. This is not where my creative skills lie. However, if you don't have a bone folder, you're missing out in life. If you're trying to make these, you're welcome. Enough waffling. Let's go. Yeah, we have the hard copy of the book. We have our map. We have our mission operation status, and we have Karum Station Blues. So I've already rolled up a character. That character is Poldie Protz. She is a blue-collar worker. She actually hadn't had contact with her family for many years when suddenly she got word that her mother died and left her just kind of a small shit ton of money, which she sort of used to make her life a little nicer on Earth when she realized that there's only so nice things you can get on Earth. Because if you watch my lore video on Across 1,000 Dead Worlds, Earth is basically a flaming mud pile of shit and misery, and it doesn't get very good. So she decides she's gonna go for it. She's gonna take her money. She's gonna go to Karum Station, and she's gonna see what she can do for herself there. She is what did I say? She's 28, practical, black woman, 5'7", about 170 pounds, confident. She laughs a lot. When she's feeling confident, she talks loudly. She paces when frustrated. She is. She's very practical. She has a nail biting habit. Her talent is that she is stout. Do I remember what that means? No. Poldie is stout. She has advantage on all resolve checks, so she is less likely to get stressed because of that. I also rolled up a couple of generic, I don't know how to say it, some NPCs to go with. I think it just turned out this way that it ended up being two other women, so it's just a girl team, and they are both a little bit, well, trying to figure out how I want to do the role-playing aspect of getting into, how they interact with each other and all that. Because one of the things I really like about Karum Station Blues is it gives you a great introduction of how to get into the game and use Karum Station more instead of just jumping right into sites and immediately running around trying to get rich. So, it's raining now. Hopefully, you probably can't hear it over the giant fan noise from my horrible shit sandwich laptop. Do not buy MSI gaming laptops. Yeah, I said it. You have no idea how bad this thing is. The screen literally fell off. I've never been more disappointed in a technology purchase in my life. All right, so that's Poldie, there's nothing to it but to do it. We're going in. So let us begin the adventures of Karum Station Blues by Richard Kelly. And thank you to Alex first of all, thank you to Richard for writing it. Thank you for Alex for giving me the okay to sort of go through this solo scenario. It gives you, for first-time divers, it gives them new landmarks while they're there and packs them off to a hostile site. Okay. Transit to Karum Station. The in-flight air is stale with sweat. The twin reeks of oily packaged rations and acrid powdered green tea cuts through it, demanding attention. Attention that no one else in steerage class is willing to give. An attendant walks the aisle every 20 minutes selling souvenirs and nips of Drake Industries in-flight vodka. But most passengers' heads are down. The mood is meditative. A few of the people sitting shoulder to shoulder might be junior admin staff, janitors or medics or food court workers. A few might be family members who come to pick up a coffin. The rest are like you, prospective divers. And like you, their thoughts are on death. The price of advancing science, of advancing Drake Industries' hold over the human economy, is that some unlucky souls die horribly out in the void. Some get rich, too, and maybe you'll be lucky. The cat that walks out of the box, unpoisoned with radiation. But you can't be sure. Across the aisle, some other poor bastard coughs. Assuming he's a diver, you know the odds. In the next few days, his corpse will be decorating some distant world. Maybe yours will be, too. Bum, bum, bum! With the ominous picture here on the side. Great art in this book, by the way. Okay. Transiting in-flight to Karum Station. So Poldie, as I said, suddenly got this windfall of money from her mom and decided that she was going to go to Karum Station. And so she is, as I decided, I had originally during character creation had rolled that she got, I think it was like 15 or something, 1,500 Drake coins. But since I wanted to play as if she is like wealthy, I gave her the max money. She has 2,000 Drake coins as she gets onto the shuttle to go to Karum Station. And her goal is to like enjoy a better... My God, can you hear that? It's like really loud. Is it quieter if I do this? No. Whatever. There's slightly more light when I leave it open. Anyways, it's raining in space. So in-flight entertainment. There is no rule against socializing on the flight, but there's not a lot of room to move around. So most people conversation partners are whoever is sitting directly next to them. I like that idea. Let's find out who is sitting. Let's find out who's sitting next to Poldie. All right. So I was gonna pause, but let's see if I can make use of my what I call it, index here. NPC tables, right? NPC tables are on 232. Let's just go there. Let's see who we find. Who is sitting next to her on the ship? That's what I want to know, right? NPC character descriptor. Who are they? All right. So sitting next to her on the ship is, and I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because it's fun. Shut up. All right. So sitting next to her on the ship, we have someone who is, it is a male, and they are, I don't know, you probably want to see the book more than the dice, huh? Alright, whatever. They are elderly. An elderly male is sitting next to her on the flight. And, ooh, they're going to have like a, this is great. We're going to have like a conversation with these people. Okay, let's roll some dice for, I guess, okay, so we should arrange this, right? Because are you ever really going to want to see... you know what we'll do? We'll make it so that when we're rolling dice, we're just going to replace me. How's that? And that way you can still see the book, right? And we'll do something like that, right? So then there's me, and then there's the dice. I'm not that important. All right, let's roll some dice. This person, who she is talking with on the flight, is... 35. Primitive. So I'm going to say he's crude. All right? He's kind of like maybe a little... So he's... Okay, so this is like an older blue-collar guy, and nothing she's not familiar with. She's a blue-collar worker herself. She's a kid. She's accustomed to people who are, you know, rough and gruff and all that stuff. So, fine. Oh, work is texting me. Hold on. Sorry about that. Work. Am I right? Okay, crude old blue collar guy sitting next to her on the ship on the way in. That's what's going on with Poldie. I don't need all of this. Settle down, Brian. There we go. There's no rule, but so most people, the divers that wish to, may roll a social travel event. If anyone rolls a routine training exercise that affects all divers, and subsequent 10s are re-rolled for the rest of the flight. Okay, social travel event. I should read more before I just start grabbing dice and rolling. Social travel event is on page 119. Thank you, Richard Kelly, for the page reference. Alright. Space anomaly travel event? No. Social travel event is on page 117, not 119. Alright. If you play, now you know that. Let's have a social travel event on a D10, shall we? Let's see what we get. An 8. 2 crew members bond, gaining +1 to actions involving each other. I wasn't going to have, and I'm still not going to. I wasn't going to have the other crew members. I was going to have Poldie meet the other crew members as a result of just getting squished together for the mission and not know each other ahead of time. So no. 2 crew members bond, giving +1 to actions involving each other doesn't really make sense. So I'm going to ignore it and move on because I don't want to deal with it. So we're going to ignore that, and instead I think I want to go to the NPC tables on page 232, where there are also conversation topics. All right, so we can have random conversation topics right here. D66. That's what I'm looking for. Let's go with that. Let's see. 3 and 4. 34. Their hopes. Aw. So, is this... I want to know, is this old man actually going up here because he expects to... Let's go to the Yes No Oracle on page 227. Thank you, index that I created myself. This is the prediction subroutine. Is it likely that this guy, this old guy, maybe he's broke, so he's going up there to work, even though that seems like a terrible idea? It seems like it's probably likely, all things considered. It seems like it's likely. So a likely would be happens on made or hired. Yep. So this poor old guy, it's saved and scrounged and finally got, or did he win the lottery? Did he win the lottery? Maybe he won the lottery to get here. 50-50. Nope, he scrounged and saved to get here. So he has worked his whole life. And he finally has enough money. Boy, I sure hope this slurping isn't too bad on camera. Maybe I should pause when I drink coffee. Please hold. There, I slammed the whole thing that way. You don't have to listen to me drinking it. Okay. Poldie sees him looking. She looks over, and this guy has in his hands I was gonna roll on the quirks table and see something, but that's fine. Fine. We'll see what is this old man's nature. He is he's practical too. So is Poldie. She looks over and she sees that he's actually planning already, right? Like he's looking at information on the station, and she sees that he's got like a little budget in his notebook, and he notices her looking over and says, you ready to be a diver? And she says, well, I can't imagine why not. Can't be that much harder than the work I've done before. And he says, well, I've done a lot of work, and I imagine hopefully this will be my last large cruise. I'd like to be able to hang out. I hear the station's awfully nice. Poldie has also heard this. She's heard rumors that the station is actually pretty lively and certainly an upgrade from Earth. And she says, "Yeah, can't be worse than where we came from." You seem to be you're one of the older people here on the transport. She mentions to him, and he says, "Well, never too late for a fresh start. Want to do something with myself, and who knows? Maybe this will be the break I've been looking for." And she says, "Well, best luck to you. I'm Poldie." And he says his name is Jesse Campos. Nice to meet you. And they shake hands, and then they sort of fall into comfortable quiet next to each other as she listens to the noises of the other people up around her. Let's see. So the book says that people who are feeling especially glamorous can elect to be in business class rather than steerage. And this costs 100 Drake coins, but would come with a free week of level 1 insurance. Pine nut crisps and an especially chemically tasted amaretto are also served. I don't know if he would have been in first class, but I want Poldie to be really milking it. So I don't know why Jesse Campos, which really sounds like the name of a YouTuber or something, is in first class. But he is, and so is she. She definitely paid the 100 DC for first class, and that means that she's also going to have, let's see, a week free of what's that? Level 1 insurance upon arrival at the station. So let's make a note of that somehow here. So she's going to spend 100 Drake coins, drops her down to 19. And then she's also going to have, where am I going to note this? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Free week of level 1 insurance. I think it says that so it says that Poldie's practical, but I think she's also really just enjoying having money for the first time in her life. So she's okay with spending a little extra here and there to really get the overall experience she's looking for. All right, what about her blue collar? Divers who do not pay for business class do not need to spend any, although they'll be charged an $80 fee. That's not going to be a problem for her because she's in first class, living it up and drinking her chemically tasting amaretto. Delicious. There is not going to be any funny business on our trip to Karum Station. Nothing really happens uneventful other than her conversation with Jesse Campos. Good old Jesse Campos. That old stick in the mud. That old horse thief. That old so-and-so. All right. Arrival at Karum Station. Disembarkation is silent and brusque. The crew triple checks the seals before cycling the airlock and then hurry all passengers out. Possessions left behind are property of Drake Industries, so Poldie grabs her gear and securely exits grabs her gear securely before exiting onto the tarmac. Entry into the station involves passage through yet another airlock, this one installed after the incident. I highlighted that myself because I thought it was funny that they clearly are referring to a specific... Oh my god, this camera cannot focus. I'm putting it back down, sorry. There's some very specific thing that happened. They gave it an uppercase I, and then didn't describe it. So I love that. And when it finally hisses open, you push through and are surrounded by vigor and noises and the smells of civilization. Even out on the edge of known space, in a habitat built by inhuman hands, there are mingled aromas of moxa and curry leaves and tobacco smoke and fry oil in the air. You can see 100 other bodies moving up and down the tarmac, regular inhabitants of the station, busy with the process of living. What if things aren't going to be so bad after all? Yeah, you got to imagine if you're her stepping into this, if you're Poldie, and this is the first time you've never been off Earth. I'm assuming she's never been off Earth, and she's stepping into this, and the smell of it hits, and it's so human, right? Like much more human than she expected. I guess she didn't know what to expect. I think there's a shame that we don't really talk much about like what the experience is of like flying towards Karum Station, the idea of seeing this giant asteroid and this just, all there is to the design of it is this big old, where are you? Karum Station's layout. Let's see. Let's find that picture of the outside of the station. Yeah, there we go. So that's what you see when you pull up, right? Is this giant asteroid with this uneven sort of makeshift, crazy-looking ring around it. It reminds me of Citizen Sleeper, if you've ever played that game. But you can see that there's also like something sort of loosely tethered floating around the outside there, and it seems to be okay with, focusing kind of now. And I like to think that also on the outside of it, though this wouldn't be reflected in a black and white picture, there's lights that are lighting up certain areas of it, and it's big. It's fairly big. It holds 2,000 people, so it's not a small station, and the at one way it's sort of awesome to see the size of it and the fact that it exists, but also sort of intimidating or scary to think about how ramshackle it looks and how the pieces are all kind of strapped and strung together on there. That could definitely freak somebody out walking in. If they're not already freaked out, they don't know what this is. This isn't a thing that's existed yet. All right, so The Newcomer's Guide to Karum Station that Poldie is holding in her hands. I like to think almost like a Fallout sort of thing, right? Not like atomic punk looking, but the same idea of like, so welcome to Karum Station. You've decided to recommends that prospective divers seek accommodations at the hotel, get some food, get some personal housing set up, get some medical insurance, although I have level 1 insurance, prepayment of their administration tax for air and temperature and all that, and signing the agreement of mission control. Getting these things in order can take a few days, and that gives you a chance to look around the station, and she gets to experience Karum Station that Alex has so wonderfully created. The deity of this universe is some guy named Alex. I like that. Okay, so prices at the hotel begin at 20 Drake coins per cycle and include a voucher for 15% off any bill under 20 Drake coins. So if your bill is 25, then the coupon doesn't work anymore. Hilarious. That's funny. So basically, this is just a $2.50 coupon, is what they're saying. Accommodations top out at $1,200. Okay, Poldie's trying to live the good life, but she's not trying that hard. We're not going to do that. The asteroid trout souffle on a bed of stardust at the restaurant is 50 Drake coins, wildly underseasoned and lightly radioactive due to its use of cosmic dust. All right, well, I don't know that she's going to worry too much about ordering at the restaurant, but she's going to be checking in at the Carum Hotel and Restaurant because she just got there. She needs a place to stay. She has her bag, I don't know, like, I guess, aircraft, luggage, basically, a box on wheels. I hate that I'm going to have to let the dogs outside in this madness before I go to work, because, ugh, then you got to clean off wet dogs. You know how that is. That's a terrible tragedy that has nothing to do with what we're doing. Please focus. All right, well, welcome to Murgo. So, yeah, I sort of as what's expected. They talk about in the book how people are really kind of thrown off by how bright and shiny, and not shiny, but bright and like lively it is on Karum Station. There's always, a lot going on. There's like music and beats and background and the sound of things cooking. And when you're even by the docks, so like out by the docks, as soon as you walk in the docks, you can see that there are some scab markets, right? The docks are one of the most consistently busy parts of the station, even when a shuttle isn't due to arrive. And they are also a place to pick up some informal labor at the scab markets. They're not recognized by Drake Industries as an official feature of the station, but they are also vital to the thousands of small jobs that crop up every day, which would be costly and slow to address through proper channels. So basically some side hustle work that people can do. And if Poldie or anybody else wants to pick up some manual labor efforts, they can do so with that. But instead, she's going to find her way as she walks through the inside of the station, which feels like somehow everything nearby makes it feel claustrophobic, right? The kiosks, the people yelling out stuff for sale. There's I imagine there's little like little kiosks and tables and stuff of tchotchkes, shitty little things to sell to tourists, people who are just visiting. She's not down for any of that stuff. She's not interested in that. However, actually, I will say that I think she finds it interesting. I think she's fascinated by the way that it looked. I mean, I'm fascinated by the way the station would have looked moving up. And so she does see a little tchotchke booth that is selling these little almost like ornamental statues of the station from the outside that sort of have magnets that make it look like there's an anti-gravity thing going on, and she thinks that's cute, and she loves a businessman, so she asks how much for one of these things, and he says that it's I don't know, it's going to cost D20 Drake coins. It's going to cost 18 Drake coins. All right, fair enough. So now she has 1,800 and I know how to do math. Shut up. 82. Right? Yeah. 1,882 Drake coins left, and she now has, and I'd say it's pocket-sized, so it's going to be a Carum model. We'll just say that. It's a little Carum model that she picked up from a thing that she likes. She thinks it's kind of cute. All right, so she takes her Carum model and she finds her way towards the hotel. Earth in the 22nd century. Here's Karum Station, and here is where's the thing? Where's the thing? Here we go. We have so she comes in through the docks and she makes her way. She's going to be working towards Carum Hotel, which is it's right there. It's right there by the dock. That makes sense. So she goes in and she looks up as you get off the docks. You look up and there's like a big whatever. Of course, it's a holographic sign. It's got to be a holographic sign. If we're gonna be on a space station, haven't you ever played No Man's Sky? All the stations signs are like holographic. So there's a floating sign. Welcome to Karum Station, brought to you by Drake Industries. Carum Industries, a subsidiary of the conglomerate of the blah 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 blah. All that stuff, all the chat and ads. Of course, there'd be ads everywhere for like every possible little business that's on the station. Babylon 5, right? Was that the name of the show that I'm thinking of? Babylon 9? Babylon 5. Babylon 5. I loved, if you watch Babylon 5, that came out in the 90s, there's a bar, and in the background there is a sign advertising Zima. Like, Zima had the audacity to think that in like the 20th century, they would still exist, and they didn't even make it to like 2025, which is pretty funny. Anyways, so it's like that, right? It's rough and tumble. Nearby, it feels claustrophobic, and yet the actual walls of the station seem expansive and far away, almost like the skybox of a video game, like something that you're really not going to interact with. Everything's kind of sort of low to the ground by the docks. So she finds her way to the from the docks, right? The docks only have enough docking space. So yeah, we already talked about tourists come and go. We are going to the hotel. Okay. The first and only hotel in the outer asteroid. Oh, wait, we have to do this. This is the visitor guide, right? That she's reading. And as you read it, like a little voice goes into your little earpiece or whatever. The first and only hotel in the outer asteroid belt. Carum Hotel is refined and artistic, with modern styles mixed with touches of culture and heritage. It offers guests the natural warmth of Arabic hospitality and comfort during their stay amidst the station's architectural and scientific wonders. I don't know why my eyebrow does this when I do this voice, but hey. Alright, it's near the docks and only a short walk from the gardens. 500 rooms with the best accommodations the space station can have, with typical hotel amenities and famous Michelin star restaurant Gravity. Oh, that's the name of the restaurant, is Gravity. So she sees that. I like the idea of, like, as you walk up to the hotel, there's like a little slight side door where you can see like the sign for Gravity, and it's like these sort of almost like balloonish space letters that constantly get pulled into a little black hole and drop down because of the name. Get it? Gravity. That's what I made up. And they're going to. There's the asteroid trout souffle and a bed of stardust, which is again mentioned here, which is pretty funny. I like that they actually give a price for the asteroid, and I like the idea that dish is just like it's constantly referenced. Is she hungry after getting off of the flight? Does she go and get some food before going into the hotel? No. I'm going to say that she filled up on all the crap that they fed her on the transport, and she decides to just go to the hotel, make herself comfortable, and check in. So prices at the hotel begin at 20 DC per cycle. Oh, wow. So this $50 for the asteroid trout souffle, it's twice the cost of a regular room. That's okay, but this is where it starts at. So I'm going to say that Poldie is willing to spend a little bit more, not a lot more. We're going to say that instead of doing 20 DC, that this is probably like a very bare bones room. We're going to say she goes for a room that's like 30 DC a room. She goes to the front desk and checks in. There's a nice young man at the front desk, and he's dressed in, I don't know, what is he dressed in? What does he look like? It doesn't matter. He has a plastic, he's got like the Fifth Element thing where he's got like a piece of plastic on half of his head and then a weird bunch of long locks on one side. Very friendly. He's wearing these sort of sunglasses that are clear to him, but on the face of it actually has like the rates, the options. Like, okay, they're not sunglasses, they're not glasses like this. They're actually like a big fat screen sort of looking thing that has like rates and information that flash across it as he talks to you. And he's like, "Welcome to Carum Hotel." I don't know why he talks like this. Why I shouldn't do voices. That's very bad. "Welcome to Carum Hotel. So happy to hear you. How can I help you?" He looks her up and down and says, "Potential diver." And she says, "Yeah, I'm going to try my luck. We'll see how it goes." Says, "Well, if you want to save money, I understand that things can be pretty tight, and we start at 20." And she's like, "I have a little more money than that." And he says, "All right, well, then it's $30 per cycle. You pay up front for your first evening." So she does that. Let's see. So she gets herself a room. She pays her $30 up front for her room. So now she is down to $18.52 in her monies. And she goes up to her room and she just sort of throws her bag in there, and she keeps she has like a little pack on her side. I don't know what she's wearing. I picture her in a jumpsuit. I think just because I said Fallout earlier, now I'm picturing her in a Fallout jumpsuit of some sort. Very, very basic, bare bones, coveralls sort of thing, like a blue collar worker outfit. And I picture that she has she's very practical. So not wearing nail polish. If she's wearing makeup, it's fairly light. She's very practical, short cut hair. She has not straight hair, and not any jewelry. Yeah, not any jewelry. She's maybe she got along with the she got a ring from her mom. I'm gonna just say that her mom also sent her a ring, said it was a family heirloom. I have no reason. I'm just deciding that now for funsies. So we're gonna say mom's ring. It's is it gold or is it silver colored? It's gold. Mom's gold ring, which just has I don't know, her mom's initials on it. And Poldie Protz, her mom was Janice Protz, J.P. There we go. I don't know, just for funsies. So she has her mom's ring, which she's wearing. She has her pack, a little hip pack thing that she has her documentation, paperwork, that whatever she might need to get signed up. And I assume that her money she exchanged for Drake coins probably on Earth before they came, because you can't use real money on the station. And I like the idea that she had to change for company script before she even came up. So that's why she has Drake coins already. And she also has a Xanax pill in her pocket for some. No, she doesn't have that yet. She did not receive any of this other stuff. Ignore that. That's not there yet. All she has is her bag, her ring, her model. Oh, so she checks into her room and she puts her bag down, and there's a nice little windowsill, if you will, that sort of looks over one of the alleys or the straightways of where all the activity is happening. One of the perks of it's really raining. One of the perks of spending a little extra money on the bed, on the room that she's in. She puts her little statue of Karum Station sort of on the windowsill and gives it a little bop, like a little spin to sort of see it move around. She sort of smiles and gives a sigh and looks out the window, and she's like, "All right, well." And she looks at the ring from her mom. I mean, I only have one ring on, so I immediately just start doing this. She probably doesn't have it on her wedding ring finger. Maybe it's on her. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. Who cares? She's got the ring on, and she sort of futzes with it a little bit, and she looks at it. And I like the idea that when she looks at the ring, she kind of talks to her mom. And "All right, Mom, here we go. I don't know if this is what you were thinking when you sent me that money, but we're gonna see how this pans out." So she looks around. It's funny because I'm saying this and I'm actually getting excited, as if I was her, standing at the window and looking out over the Karum Station thing. This is exciting. Okay, so she takes a sigh and she says, "All right, so the next thing recommended by her basic itinerary is that she secures some personnel quarters." Thank you so much. Okay, time out. Thank you so much for Richard Kelly for writing this, because this is really I ran one time already. I've done a dive, I did a station run with poor Hugh, And I ignored Karum Station completely. I went right into the dive, and I missed out on so much flavor. And this is such a great way to give people this flavor. Like, I mean, like a lot of what I'm experiencing here about her ring and like picking up the little model and the way I'm describing the station is not in here. It's not in here. This is so you're gonna have your own. This is so fun. You're gonna have your own experience. So even though I'm spoiling the shit out of this entire book, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna have a good time. All right, so. There's a minimum 1 cycle wait time for the housing office staff to clean and sterilize the quarters of a dead diver or ousted debtor. During this time, you're advised to book a room at the hotel. Living on the streets for cycles is also possible, but incurs due stress. Okay, we're not going to do that. I also need a way to track time. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I want to be able to track time in the game. Let's just do that with a notebook. Oh! Little pocket bullet journal over here that we can use for random shit like this. So we're just gonna pick and we're gonna say, I don't know, do I do it like this or do you doesn't matter. Okay, ATDW time, there we go. So we're gonna track time. For now I'm just gonna put a section here that says cycles. Ew, gross, even I can't read that. That's why I write a lot in CYCLES in all caps so that I don't. So we are on cycle 1 of our adventure. I'm just going to put that there so I can keep track. I might need it to keep track of like weeks and stuff too for the taxes. All right. There is a minimum 1 cycle wait time. So she is going to go to the housing office. Sure. I guess that would be a different place than Mission Control, obviously. They don't really talk about where, like, the housing office is. I'm gonna, in my world, the housing office, it wouldn't be in the district. So this is, okay, so this is the dock. This is the hotel, which seems very, very big. I'm gonna say that, yes, this is the hotel, but this is also, like, you have the district, and the district is like large series of brothels and locales. It's the largest public area with a half dozen restaurants and bars and brothels. But I feel like this isn't a place that like just everybody would go. The district, like if you had tourists with, I don't know why there would be kids or families or whatever. But so the brothel, the district is like the big area that where like everything goes down. And it's separated by the museum to this part, which is like the more tourist-friendly area. So, like, I would say like the housing joint would be there. So she finds her way out of the hotel, and she looks up at the holographic sign, and she sees a marking for the housing office, and she goes over and speaks to the sort of there's like a sort of unkempt woman at the front desk. Sort of heavy set, bald. She has just like a single ocular implant thing, and so when Poldie goes up to the front counter and she says, "Hi, I'm looking for securing personal quarters as a diver," and the woman looks up, and as she looks up, Poldie sees that digital eye thing just is capable of like moving. Oh no. She looks up at Poldie to talk to her, and one eye's looking at Poldie, and the other eye is still looking down and just like scanning super fast at like these documents that she has that she's looking through. Like as she's talking to Poldie, this other eye and this other hand are still kind of moving stuff around. And she says, "Are you registered as a diver?" And she said, Poldie says, "I'm about to be." And she takes out her documentation from her pack and shows her the information, and the woman, puts it down. Instead of reading it like this, she like puts it down for the eye to consume, that little eye going and like reading it. And she says, "Okay, very good. There is a small wait time until you can get a room, and that wait time, let's see. They said it's a minimum of a 1 cycle wait time, so let's give it the opportunity to be more than that. Let's say 1d4." 3 cycles. Okay, so there's a 3 cycle wait time. She says, looking at the records, there was especially large number of people that were on your transport, so it will be another couple of days. It will be 3 days until you can get a room. And Poldie says, 3 days? She says, 3 days including today. So if you come back in roughly, 72 hours, whatever, 3 days, we'll be able to get a room for you. Until then, I recommend you getting a room at the hotel where they have excellent accommodations. Now, side note to myself, if you stay at the hotel, you don't have to pay the tax for staying in a room. I remember that. I remember reading that somewhere. Personal quarters. Let's see. Payment is furthermore expensive to maintain the next motion whenever you need it. Somewhere in here, and I don't need to justify it to you people. You're just going to have to believe me. Somewhere in here it says that when you're at the hotel... Oh, now I want to find it. Hold on. Okay, I found it, and I'd like to say proudly that I found it because of my own little... because of my own little table of contents that I made, my own little index. So, thank you, me. And yes, that is here. The tax is waived during any cycle in which a person has purchased accommodation at the Carum Hotel. So, Poldie is not subject. So she tells her that. She's like, as long as you're staying at the hotel, you're not subject to the air temperature and administration tax, the ATDW, the ATA tax, we'll call it. So you won't have to worry about that until you start working as a diver. Your name is on the list. Please scan here. And she holds out a little plate, and Poldie puts her hand out, and the thing kind of just does a quick circle around her hand and like scans the whole thing. And okay, thank you. And then she says, so Poldie looks at her guide, and it recommends going to the to get medical insurance via the medical station annex. Now, she did get some level 1 insurance just for being on first class, which is nice. Let's see. Oh, she probably would have had to state what kind of room she wanted when she was at the housing thing. And she's definitely going to say that she wants a personal room and not the basic amenities. So she's going to be looking for a standard room when she gets there, which is 50 DC a week, because she's got some money to throw on. I don't need the hangers. I need not the district, not the gardens, not the... Where is the medical inner ring? Oh, it's in... That's right. The medical center is actually in the asteroid. So that's kind of cool. So she reads that probably the next thing you should do is purchase medical insurance, and she is kind of excited to move through. So she moves through the ring of Karum Station. You know, she finds her way along until she gets to the long connecting tunnel, and I like the idea that for the purposes of publicity or making it fancy, you've got this tunnel that leads. I want to say 2 tunnels. There's a tunnel that's split in half with a transparent wall, and on each side you've got like blocks of lights that are moving in the direction you're going to walk, one going one way, one going the other, so that as you head into the asteroid, you sort of get treated to... And there's also, are we going to say moving walkway like in an airport? Yes, there is. So it's kind of like as you move into the asteroid, there's like pictures on the wall. This is very much like an airport now. There's like pictures on the wall of like successful divers coming back, and like gorgeous action shots of the RSI ships as they like leave the hangar, and inspiring music playing with like trumpets and stuff as you move through. And then you get to the actual where it goes into the rock, and this is where like the human construction starts tapering off. And as you get into the rock, it says that there's a network of tunnels that lead to the real heart of the station and the sole reason for its existence. The hangars are a 5-level section that contain hundreds of spacecraft. So I think you see this, like as you come through and you walk out of this fancy tunnel, now you're on these like, I don't know, catwalk-like walkways that the humans have created to make it able to gain access to the different hangar levels, which is, it's sort of like an open. Is it? Yeah, I guess at first, like I like to picture the hangar levels as like there's like an open spot in the middle, and then there's levels where you can kind of see the different ships. I also like the idea in my head that the ships aren't following the, like, they're not just parked on the different levels. They're kind of like up against the walls. They're almost like, you know, at 100 or whatever, 90 degrees to the floor. Like, once you set your foot up onto that wall, now you're at 90 degrees, and that's how you get into the ships. So the ships are kind of wrapped around in these big circles on the different floors. I don't know if I'm doing a good job of, like, describing this. Like, this would be the middle, right? Like a big open column. And then around that are, like, you know, the levels with the ships all parked against the walls and packed in pretty tight, too. So she sees this, and that's, of course, amazing to her. That looks amazing. And then she... what does it say? The hangars themselves are of little interest. Standard A-metal structures with tunnels of raw asteroid rock. Well, I just made them cooler than that, so whatever. Kick rocks. The welcome guide has this to say about the medical center. Do you cry yourself to sleep every night? Are the whispers pushing you to your limit, making you doubt you can board a ship again? Have you had violent thoughts that scare you? Worry not. A single session with our expert Sci-bots will have you heading to your next mission with a big smile on your face. I love that this is the Deep Diver welcome guide, but this is clearly someone who has seen some shit and has been around for a minute. What are the whispers, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did, because there's a glossary at the back. The whispers are the name given to what KSA scientists have deemed as attempts at interfacing with the human mind by the RSI spaceships and other technology. Not all individuals seem to be susceptible to this phenomenon, but those that are describe it as extremely unsettling or even terrifying. So that's what the whispers are. Alright, so thanks to virtual remote operation, Karum Station has hired some of the best medical experts in the world. Combined with advanced robotics and treatments, recovery rates are excellent, even in the face of devastating physical and mental trauma. Unfortunately, access to these are fantastic services and facilities are not cheap. That is why they offer 3 levels of medical insurance. Wow, level 1 is, holy cow! So I paid $100 to get first class, and I get a full week of level 1 medical insurance. It was level 1, right? Free week of level 1 insurance, yeah. Holy balls, which is usually $200 a week. That is a bargain for people that they expect to die. It covers all medical expenses for the first week, whether that's reconstructive surgery, anti-radiation therapy, psychological therapy. Okay, what's funny about that is that I'm almost certainly not going to be on a mission in my first week anyways, so they don't care that they're giving me all this free stuff. Unless I get myself into a bar fight, it's not really going to matter. Anyways, the Medical Administration Annex has slow-moving lines, and any meeting with them takes the better part of half a cycle. I want to say that it was still late morning when Poldie arrived on the station, and since then, you know, she went and, you know, got herself a room, and she checked in with personnel, you know, the housing staff. So I'll say it's been, we'll say it's early afternoon. So she's going to spend the better part of the day now waiting in line for the medical insurance. Insurance purchase from them is prorated and begins at the end of the week. Oh, wait. Why am I buying this again? Hold on. Medical insurance and prepayment. Okay, so we're just... I have to decide whether I want medical insurance. Do I want medical insurance? Well, she has money and she's practical, so it seems like she's a person that would, in fact, buy. But would she get level 1? Probably not. She's going to enjoy it while she has it, but then she'll probably just do level... I don't know. What happens if you can't afford the treatment that you need? Reconstructive anti-radiation, that's $500. I mean, all this stuff is so expensive that I don't even know if she could... characters interrupt what I need. I mean, my God. There's so much stuff here. This is 10,000 DC. Does this even matter? Hold on. Is she really going to get this insurance? She is going to... Oh, I don't know. Let's I'm thinking too much about this. She's practical and she has money. She's not going to get level 1, but perhaps she thinks it's worthwhile to get level 3. fine. She'll get level 3. She decides she's going to get level 3 insurance, and or maybe she looks at what's available and decides that it doesn't. No, she'll do level 3. So let's do. So she has level 3 insurance. I hope you all enjoyed watching me hum and haw and lose my pencil. Here we go. First, free week of level insurance, then level 3, which is 40 DC a week. Okay. I'll make a note of that. So she waits in line. Insurance purchase from them is prorated and begins at the end of the week. So she's going to pay the 40 now, and then she'll have a week of level 1 and then a week of level 3. Boy, I'm going to keep track of all this. So insurance. I'm just going to do that. Insurance. So I have a week 1, level 1 paid. Week 2, level 3 paid. Alright, so she's going to pay her $40, 40 DC, which brings her down to 18 and 12. She has 1812 left in her coffers. Oh man, I bent the book. Why'd you guys let me bend the book? Come on, man. Unfortunately, insurance covers only a few conditions. Only new conditions. Any critical... I don't care. She's not sick. She's fine. None of that matters. Okay, all the stuff about prorating and previous pre-existing conditions, not a problem. All right, so assenting to the air temperature and administration tax. So there are kiosks. I like the idea that there are regularly spaced kiosks all over the station where people are able to pay for their air temperature and administration tax. They must pay a tax each cycle. It's 1 credit per cycle for divers, 5 for tourists, and free for all upper administrators. Ain't that some bullshit? It's waived when you're at the hotel, so that's already being paid for. Tax may be paid at any number of secure kiosks or to an enforcement officer. Any tax may be prepaid up to a year. Well, she's going to wait. I think she's going to wait until she's actually, not at the hotel, and then maybe she'll do some prepay after that. Signing the memorandum of agreement. So yeah, she talks, let's say at the medical insurance place. She leaves there and she actually spends a little time in the street, right, in one of the corridors. She sits and reads all the information about the administration tax, or even better, she stands there and hits a button and that voice comes up. All inhabitants of Karum Station, with some exceptions, must pay a tax each cycle to ensure the continuing running of the station. This tax is 1 DC per cycle for divers, etc., etc., etc. So she decides to hold off on that, thinks it's unnecessary, and then she pulls out her little guide to Karum Station, and she clicks the button that says Memorandum of Agreement, and it says, before undertaking any missions, all prospective divers must sign the Memorandum of Agreement at Mission Control. The memorandum includes pages upon pages of very valuable information related to drink industries and what you can expect as a diver. That's not what it says down here. I stopped reading it because I realized that this isn't what it would say. What it really says is that there's pages upon pages releasing Drake Industries from liability for loss of life, limb, sanity, or spirituality. Loss of spirituality. Because you see such horrific things that you decide that there is no God. Okay. Veteran divers consider signing the memorandum a solemn event, while mission control staff simply seem bored. Okay. So she finds her way. She's still inside the asteroid, and she goes to mission control. Okay, so this is like a little quote. Like, so when you hit on the button on the newcomer thing, there's like a little video that pops up of Richard Ababio, chief engineer, and he says, gross, I'm burping, sorry. This is where the magic happens. I said I wasn't going to do voices. I'm doing it now. This is where the magic happens, kind of literally. Most scientists have given up trying to figure out our psi technology, claiming even Aleister Crowley was closer to science than whatever this is. Personally, I think we'll crack it one day, sooner or later. We just need a crisis big enough to motivate humanity more than all the money in the galaxy could. That was a terrible voice, I'm sorry. When you're ready to embark on your next mission, you inform Mission Control, and 24 hours later, you are on a mission. So let's see what goes on here. Before undertaking any, you have to go to the right. All right, so, and then this tells you some more things about, we're not going to worry about that yet. All right. I'm going to say that she is going to wait until she's actually in the quarters before she goes on a mission. So there's going to be a few days where she's just sort of hanging out, maybe? Maybe that's what's going to happen. I don't know. We'll see. So she goes to mission control, and she provides her documents to the admins that are on duty. Let's say like a couple of older men who are sitting there. One of them is missing an arm and has like a weird, very sort of low quality, half plastic, half metal sort of flipper that is especially good at moving papers really fast. I don't know why there's papers. I don't know. It says there's pages upon pages. I guess that could be on a tablet. Fine, it's on a tablet, so it's not papers, and his flipper isn't good for papers. His flipper is just crappy in general. And, hungry. I gotta eat before I go to work. What time is it? Okay, we're good. And so she goes and she steps up, and she's kind of, eager, shiny penny, if you will, and she's like, hi, and she produces her papers. I'm here to sign up as a limited partner. And he looks up and he smiles at her, and he looks at her and he kind of looks her up and down, and he goes, okay. And she goes, is there anything wrong? Is it something? And he says, no, not at all. And he takes out one of the tablets and he hands it to her, and he's like, please have a seat, take a moment to read through this. You'll need to initial everywhere that you see a yellow box. And so she sits down and she opens the tablet and she sees the number at the bottom of the page that says like 218. That's the number of pages. And so she starts reading, and at first she's doing that thing that we all do where we're like, well, I'm actually going to read this because I'm not just going to sign things that I don't know what it says. But by page like 80 something, she's like, oh, Christ. All right. And she's trying to like stick with it and read through it. And every once in a while, the old guy looks up to see how fast, because like you can tell how fast people are actually reading it by how quickly they're hitting their little. We'll say like you put your finger down on the yellow box, as like that's your way of initialing it, is with your fingerprint. And so he sees that like she's, gradually her fingers hitting quicker and quicker to sort of indicate that like, yeah, okay, nobody actually reads this whole thing. There's just too much to it. But the purpose of it is to, the liability disclosure, the agreement, the this, the that. You're going to agree to pay for air and all this other stuff. So she, after a fair amount of time, she finally finishes signing off on the memorandum of agreement, and she hands it back to the guy, and she says, so what's next? And he says, that's it. You are officially a diver. You are diver number I don't know. She's diver number 2486903. 2486903. That's her diver number. Her diver ID number. I don't know why. I just made that up. And so he's like, welcome aboard. And he shakes her hand with her. I'm going to say he shakes with her left hand because his right hand is the flipper thing. And as he shakes her hand, as he sees her ring, and she says, oh, that's very nice. And she says, thanks. My mom gave it to me. He says, well, I hope you many good fortunes and good luck in your endeavors, and please be careful. Take care of yourself. And she says, thank you, that's very nice. And she moves away from the desk, and she finds herself standing in mission control and thinking, all right, well, what now? I've got time. She's got her documentation. She's got whatever shows that she is now officially a diver. And it is evening, so she probably is going to find her way towards, the district to see what's going on downtown. That's what she's going to do. She's going to go see the district, right? And she's going to head on over to the district. The receptionist at the Velvet Wish. Oh, my. Well, she's not going to the Velvet Wish, so I'm not going to read about what the Velvet Wish does for you. The red light district is a large series of brothels and locales modeled after St. Petersburg Purple Way. I don't know anything about St. Petersburg Purple Way. Should we Google it? Let's take a look and see what it looks like. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but here we are. This is what I got for St. Petersburg Purple Way. I mean, it doesn't look like debauchery. Oh, I'm not showing you. I'm so sorry. Here we go. It doesn't look like debauchery. I mean, this looks kind of cool. Whatever's going on there. I like that. I like that that's there. Probably not going to have any fireworks on a station. Anyways, whatever. It's your standard. I'm just going to say it's your standard red light district. Largest public area with half a dozen restaurants and bars, as well as several brothels, gambling houses, and virtual entertainment centers. Among all of the spots, one holds a special place for all the divers, the Red Asteroid. This is the only spot in the whole outer ring that is reserved exclusively for divers and station staff. It is their haven. Here they share stories, mourn their dead, and get drunk enough to sign up for a new mission. So Poldie is actually distinctly interested in checking out this place that she's heard of, the Red Asteroid, which sounds like a really cool place to check out. There's also like where's that carousing table? Downtime activities, right? So, I mean, I'm guessing this is kind of a picture of the Red Asteroid, right? If I were to guess. You can roll on the carousing table once per cycle. Interesting. Do we want something that crazy to happen to her? You know, I haven't done a whole hell of a lot, and we're at an hour, and we're going to have to stop soon. So how does the evening end for her? She's going to go to the district, right? She's going to go to the Red Asteroid. And I want to roll on carousing, or do I want to roll on what happens at the Red Asteroid? Well, she's going to walk into the Red Asteroid, right? And it is just exactly what you picture it to be if you had, like, you know, a dive bar for astronauts, a dive bar for divers, a dive bar. I love it. And so she sees colorful locals. What are these colorful locals like? She sees a couple of security officers dragging a diver while they kick and scream. So she's walking in, and as she's walking in, these two security guards are dragging this guy out, and he's like, "You didn't see what I saw! You don't know what it's like! The walls have eyes! They all have eyes!" And they're like dragging him out, and she's like, "Okay, maybe he had too much to drink. Fair enough. A new driver. Okay, so she's gonna carouse, right? I don't know. I think she's just gonna see what happens at the Red Asteroid tonight. Let's just do that, because we're getting to a stopping point here for the day, as she waits for her first mission. All right, so number 9. Wow, someone was killed. No one's sure what happened. Holy shit. Okay. So she walks in, and as she walks in, she sits down at the bar. She orders a drink, and the bartender walks over. He's like a young black guy, muscular, shirt kind of open a little bit. He's got like some tattoos that sort of like almost like digital circuitry type lines that kind of go back into his hairline, which is like a very well kept, I guess a fade. I don't know how else to describe it. And he leans in front of her and immediately takes interest in her and smiles and says, "You're new." And she just smiles back and says, "That obvious?" And he says, "Oh my God, you stick out. You like, there's not a wrinkle on you, and you're still wearing a ring like that." And he points at the ring from her mom, and she's like, "What's wrong with my ring?" And he's like, "Just not something I see that often. Hard to describe. Can I get you something?" And she orders a drink. Nothing. She's gonna order a Cosmo Crisper. She looks at the menu and she orders a Cosmo Crisper, and he giggles again, and she goes, "Let me guess. That's a drink that only new people order." And he says, "It's a good drink, but you're not wrong." So he mixes her the drink and puts it on a table, and then he holds out a little tablet with the cost on it. I'm going to say that this drink costs, let's do a D12. As an 8 credit drink. So now she's at 1804 for money. The drink is like pink purple, and it has fizz that goes the wrong direction. How about that? The fizz goes downwards and creates these little air pockets, and then sort of pop up and poof along the sides of the cocktail drink. It looks like a martini glass, basically. She takes a sip, and she looks around, and she sees at the back of the room there's an unusually empty place with some yellow tape. And she said, "What happens back there?" And he said, "We had something happen. Something went down last night. An argument between a couple of guys here. Not entirely sure of the details, but let's just say that the population went down by 2 in the middle of the evening last night." And she says, "Does that happen often?" And he says, as he's turning around, he was talking to her with his back to her, so he kind of looks over his shoulder and he says, "Define often." And she doesn't answer. She just keeps drinking. And she says, "So this is where the divers come in. This is where the regulars hang out." And he looks over and he says, "Define regulars." And she says, "What do you mean?" He says, "It's a lot of turnover. Some people do good. A lot of people don't. See some faces in here for a long time, and then I never see them again. Can't say goodbye when you don't know when goodbye is going to happen." And she's just kind of ominous. You can sort of hear the thumping still in the background. There's people around. And she notices distinctly that while he's perfectly friendly with her, there are other people around that are kind of looking at her, but then not interacting. And she suspects that's because she is new. And she says, "Not a lot of friendly people here." And he says, "Well, people don't tend to make friends right away. I want to make sure that you're going to be around long enough to be worth the effort." She sees some people looking at the drink that she ordered too, and she's like, "Jesus, is it that big a deal that I ordered the Cosmic Crisper?" And he says, "Well, it's not an inexpensive drink either. It seems like you're doing okay as far as money goes." And she says, "I got a couple bucks to my name, and a couple of drakes. I got a couple drakes to my name." And he says, "Yeah, I wouldn't be too loud about that. You probably want to keep that on the down low." So she continues to drink her drink, and she looks around. She sees some faces looking at her. She sees some faces looking straight down at their drinks and not interacting with anybody. People who look like they've seen some shit, and maybe they don't want to see any more. One guy's sitting in a booth, just playing with a coin, which there aren't real coins. The money is digital here, but he's got a coin, some sort of weird, sort of silver coin in a disc shape. I'm going to say, actually, the coin, I don't know why I care or why I'm describing this, but it's like this. Oh, that's right. You can see what I'm doing, right? So kind of has this sort of design to it, right? Like this is all filled in. So it's got kind of like sort of that design to it. And she's interested in it, and she's looking at it from afar. He never pays her any attention. So she hangs out, and she has her drink, and largely has an uneventful night. Oh, the bartender's name is Jace. Jace is the bartender. Maybe I should write some of this shit down. All right, so we're gonna have we'll just make a little page that says NPCs. We have bartender Jace, Jayce. What was the name of the guy on the ship that she came in with? I already don't remember. He sounded like a YouTuber. Jesse Compost, something like that. I don't know. So we'll say guy on ship. Jesse Campo. I don't know. We're just gonna say Campo. I can't remember his name. That's the guy on the ship, right? The guy on the transport ship. The old guy on the transport. Because the other Brian's not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, so we have Aaron. So, she says, "Thanks for the drink, Jace." And he says, "Happy to oblige." And, of course, it wouldn't be appropriate if he didn't turn around with a rag in one hand and a cup in the other. And he's doing this here. I got my... So he turns around and he's got his... hold on, we'll hide that. Yeah. She says, "Hey, thanks for the drink." And he's like, "Not a problem, Poldie. Hope to see you again soon." And she says, "Well, apparently I'm not going to have a room for another 2 or 3 days." I actually dipped this in the coffee by accident. So you never know. I might be hanging around here another night before I go. And he says, well, that wouldn't be so hard. That wouldn't be so bad. And he kind of gives her a smile that maybe is a little extra friendly, a little, perhaps he's, likes what he sees sort of thing. She certainly does. She, licks him up and down and gives him the same sort of courtesy of a little extra flirtatious beat of time before she excuses herself from the bar, heads out of the red asteroid, and starts slowly making her way back to her room, looking at the signs and stuff as she makes her way, as she gets herself accommodated to the station. So, did I know that I was going to take this entire session for her just to sort of check in and have a drink? No. Do I give a shit? No. I enjoyed that thoroughly. That was a lot of fun. I am hungry now, so I want to stop, and we're also at an hour 15, which is kind of a long video, but that is the beginning of Poldie's adventures on Karum Station in Karum Station Blues by Richard Kelly. Thank you for tuning in and joining me while we had this adventure. Stay tuned. We'll have another session soon, and I think we'll probably jump over her next 2 days of hanging out on the station. She's still going to have to pay for her room, but we'll probably jump towards her getting her mission and moving forward next time. So, all right, carry on with courage. Take it easy, guys. See you on the next one. Bye.